Is up, everyone? We are here. It's Clint Esposito here with the Clint Esposito Show because I decided I might as well change the name and promote myself because I've never been huge on that. I've always had other companies or teams and stuff to promote to kind of avoid promoting myself. So I decided probably now it's finally time. Just promote me. So I did have a couple things I'm going to do Mondays, probably earlier than this typically, but this is what it was today. I had some stuff I was rearranging my website and the title of the podcast and all that all morning, so I did not go earlier. So the first thing I was going to talk about is actually what I was just saying, that I don't and never have promoted myself a ton. I've always found, like in the beginning, when I just started freestyle motocross, I had FMX East. So I promoted that on Instagram a bunch and Facebook and actually MySpace. It was actually, I got it big on MySpace. And then we transferred away from MySpace, obviously. And I never got it as big on Facebook. But I just always defaulted to promoting other things. And now, switching to comedy, I only have like 1,600 people on my Instagram because I kept it private for a really long time, which obviously now I realize is a hindrance, and I should have definitely been promoting that more. So, like I said, that's the switch. And I think a lot of us probably do that. I talk to a lot of comedians that are good comedians, and then they just don't see themselves as that. And they, when you don't see yourself like as a comedian in general, then you end up not, you just, when you think like that, you act like that, and people perceive you like that. I think that's the biggest issue, is that people perceiving you as being like not confident or not that good. So I see people rip on themselves and everything in sets. I try to keep it to a minimum because then people think you suck. Right, Danny D. Wayne? There's enough people out there saying I suck without me agreeing with them. They can do that on their own. So, um, yeah. So everybody have a little bit more confidence. I have owned freestyle motocross teams, ridden freestyle motocross, done stunts, produce podcasts, produce shows, and yet I don't really think that I'm all that rad, to be quite honest with you. It's like anything you can do, you being me, anything I can do must be easy, right? So everybody else should be able to do anything I can do. So I think everybody perceives themselves that way. Uh, so yeah, self-promotion. That's why it's now called the Clint Esposito Show, because screw it. The other thing, the holidays, we just had Thanksgiving, and Christmas is coming up, and then New Year's, and everybody just gets crazy. Um, I agree, Jeff. You can be really self-deprecating, can be good, but I think that you're still going to, at some level, deal with that being negative back towards you, and you have a thing to deal with the negative. Does that make sense? If you're like always talking shit on yourself, uh, even if other people don't believe it, they're going to kind of treat you that way a little bit, unless you're so talented that you can overpower that, I think, if that makes sense. But I mean, I agree, you need to be a little bit, you can't just think you're, yeah, you got to be really funny to be able to do that stuff. You can't just be hard on yourself all the time and not really that good. That's another thing I see people in comedy try to too early try to tackle really serious subjects, and it's like we're not good enough yet. I'm not good enough. I'll just speak for myself. I'm not good enough to spin some super serious subject matter to where people think it's funny instead of just being mad at me. But my original point was self-promotion. I don't like to promote myself. I don't think I'm that sweet. That's why the name was weird. I just changed the name. I even feel weird about the name of the podcast being The Clint Esposito Show now, because I don't like putting myself on stuff that much. So, like I said, I should have done this a long time ago. Had I had 10, 15,000 followers from when I rode freestyle, it definitely would have, helped out when I swapped to comedy. But, I don't know. I'm sure everybody feels this way. They're not super up on themselves or think they're that great. There's a lot of people that don't. Those people are assholes. But the rest of us. So that's what I want to talk about is the holidays, and everybody has problems gaining weight because they eat all this shit. And I'm not saying not to eat all this shit. That's the last thing I would say. What I'm saying is make sure that you get up in the morning and bust your ass first thing in the morning and work out. And then that way you won't feel so guilty later when you are eating your fourth piece of cake or whatever you're having. And you've set your body up in a position to where it's depleted and it can actually use that stuff to build muscle and repair versus you just getting fat because you ate a bunch at the holidays. So that would be my suggestion. Get up early, Christmas, whatever day, work out in the morning, and then you can be a pig the rest of the day and feel okay about yourself. And it'll at least even it out. You won't just totally go off the reservations. I haven't written that much down. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about, write it. But the other thing is I live in New Jersey, and they just upped our COVID restrictions again. So it's now 25 people outside. Outside, that's right. If you're outside, you can have a gathering of maximum 25 people. Unless you're cheering that Biden won the election. Then you can go out in the street in the thousands. But not just for gatherings, bro. All right? Anybody, what's your guys'... I'm sure nobody's on Twitch here. And I don't think anybody's on YouTube. I'm looking for chats, but I don't see anything right now. It's also I have too many screens over here to try and go through to look at all these chats. So, yeah, COVID restrictions. Does this stuff... I mean, at least it's not like some arbitrary time limit, right? Like you can have 50 people outside until like 8 o'clock, and then you got to get it down to 25 like they were doing inside. But like, I don't know, man. I don't think any of this stuff is making any difference here. I think that like any virus, bro, in China, they wear masks. How did it get out of there? It still got out of there. I mean, I like it turns into aerosols, right? Isn't that the alleged deal? It's like studies have shown that there is shit on everything, all the touchpads, everything, and that's solid. And you dropped it into water. So like, how is it getting everywhere? Please tell me if a mask is going to work. It doesn't make very much sense to me. The other thing that's weird is that masks were never the go-to for the past 40 years. And there were other viruses, but that was never the go-to. The science always showed that it didn't really help until all of a sudden this one now, and now all of a sudden masks are the key. So I don't get it. But I think either way, say that does work. Say the masks do work, okay? So then we can still go to the restaurants or the store or whatever. That's what needs to happen, because These businesses were killing every business that isn't like Fortune 500. Why does Walmart get to stay open? I think if you're going to shut stuff back down this time, we shut down big box stores and we let all the small stores open. And that would make more sense to me anyway, because then you have people dispersing to many more locations instead of everybody going to one Walmart in that town, or one Target or whatever. That makes zero sense to me. I I admit I am not an epidemiologist. Anybody on Facebook or whatever, so don't try and shoot me yet. But I'm just pointing out things that seem how it seems to me. I don't know. I don't want to be president, Jeff. Don't put that on me. But I just think the other thing too, right? They're like, we need to save everyone. We need to take care of everybody. Well, if nobody works, who the hell is going to pay for those people? It doesn't. I'm not even good at math. I'm terrible at math. Yet I can figure out that if nobody works at all, right? We will run out of money to pay for the people that really can't work and really need the assistance. You can call me, please, somebody comment on something, tell me I'm an idiot, and that makes zero sense, and explain why, and maybe I'll go with your depiction. But right now, that seems like how that would have to work. Maybe I'm wrong. What's up, everybody joining on Instagram, although there's only 2 people, but I can't see, like, Facebook's so weird. How do I see the comments if anybody's commented on the video while it's live? Do you have to be on that page or something? Any other states more lockdown, less lockdown? Any other states I can go do comedy at where it's not super restricted? By the way, we do have a mic tonight at the Dojo of Comedy East in Morris Plains on the patio. I don't think more than 25 people are going to show up. We haven't had even 18 people at a mic in a very long time, so it'd be totally safe. It's not the hottest patio you've ever been on, but it's enclosed. I'm gonna like seal it up a little better, so that way the heat stays in there a little better. So come to the mic, and we are gonna still keep doing shows out there. That's actually why there was just a recent rush to try and get the patio all closed in. So we're trying, Jeff. We're trying. You keep killing it out there in New York, too. Are you guys locked down as shit? In New York State, not New York City. Are you guys locked down as well? Did your governor got you guys too? He sucked you guys in. Everyone's locked down. Were people allowed to Black Friday shop? That's a good question. Yeah, Cuomo. Were people allowed to Black Friday shop? Because that would make zero sense if you're not allowed to have more than 10 people over for your family Thanksgiving. Did anybody see where they said that you should bring your own utensils to Thanksgiving dinner? They said you should bring your own plates and utensils and possibly, this is not a joke, and possibly food. Don't be writing you had over 20 at Thanksgiving, Jeff. The Gestapo is going to show up at your house and drag you outside, take you to a nice little camp, warm you up with some gas. I wish I could see people on other platforms. All I can see is anybody interacting with me on Instagram, which is one person. And I got one viewer on Twitch. Oh shit, 3 concurrent people on YouTube. It's an all-time high. Nobody's talking though. Okay. which is just you. Over 20 at Thanksgiving, which was just you. It was just you by yourself. Allegedly, allegedly, he had a bunch of people at his house, but you guys don't even know who we're talking about, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, people. Uh, yeah. So we knew that people were gonna get cold and shit this time of year anyway. Anyway, I'm off the COVID shit. I'm over it. Oh, yeah. Well, you're the only one interacting with me, Jeff, for sure. Anyway, I'm over COVID. For, like I said, for the holidays, get up, work out before your whatever, lunch, dinner, before you get totally trashed, and then you don't have to feel as bad about it. I would ask people questions, but nobody's reacting with me, so it's fine. Anyway, every Monday, I don't know how long this one will be, but every Monday, Cody here in Colorado, I got somebody in Colorado interacting. Are you guys locked down, Cody? Or Colorado's like, we don't give a shit. Do what you want. Well, weed kills COVID, right? So you guys shouldn't have even had any. I mean, well, there you go. You smoked bongs after Thanksgiving, Jeff, so that cured you. You don't have to worry about COVID either. COVID can't live in your mouth or your lungs when you're smoking that fire, boy. Right? Isn't that how that works? What were the other things they came up with would kill COVID? Weed, right? Um, uh, okay, so Colorado is, he says, not worse than California, which is like saying not worse than New York. Which again, why do we need to compare to our worst, right? That's comparing to the absolute worst in this scenario. Um, and he said, everything, it's not worse in California, but everything is takeout there. So, yeah, like how do they expect, I mean, I know that they don't, but how do they expect businesses to survive? How are businesses going to survive with 25%? Now, so that's, so Mike at the restaurant and the club, I asked him, I'm like, what's going on? Thinking that he would have some more insight as to what the actual rulings are. And he's even like, bro, what you read, we read. That's all we have to go off of. You know, so he's just like that like the ambiguous statements that you read, just so it says outside gatherings limited to 25. That's all he knows too for the patio or whatever. Like, how are you supposed to, like, I think that they make make those rulings and stuff, or those restrictions so vague. That way, if they deem at any point that you've overstepped some kind of boundary, they can just come in and be like, oh, guess what? You guys got to shut down or whatever. Because there's not, if they really had all this science and they were going off the science, then they would have some kind of actual timeline of like what needs to happen and stuff like that. And the fact that it's like just random shit like 25 people outside, 25% inside, you can't serve inside after 10, shows that it's just random stuff. New York State is most restaurants are carry out only as well. And we're pretty much we're pretty lucky with being in New Jersey and the dojo and all that stuff that we're actually getting to do any comedy at all, to be quite honest with you. So I feel very fortunate about that, but I do really feel bad for the places that are super locked down and or not even just the areas, but the businesses that haven't been able to function, the way that under the rules that they have with the limited amount or takeout only or stuff like that. Man, a lot of businesses went out, and that's going to be it. There's not going to be, everybody thinks that there's this magical stimulus that's going to come from up above that's going to, take care of everybody. But again, if you stop everyone from working, who is going to flip that bill? There's nobody. So again, I don't never claim to be the smartest person, but like a lot of things don't seem like they're going to work out with the plans that they've come up with. You have to separate and save the people that are really at risk, and let the other people live and produce, deliver food, deliver whatever, you know what I mean? Make money so that they are paying taxes and they can front the money for this stuff. Bub's cat, I hope we're not effed. That's what his comment was. Some schools are testing 100% of students and teachers before they can do in-session classes. Yeah, lots of businesses that have been around for decades are closing. The amount of comedy clubs, honestly, and I've not been in comedy that long, but just the ones that I've been exposed to here in New Jersey, well, obviously they're pretty much all in New York, but the ones I've been around, a lot of them have closed down, and some are doing secret shows. And I actually heard one place in New York was doing secret shows, and like 15 people got COVID. But did they die? But did you die? Well, some New York, Dangerfield's already, I don't know if somebody else is going to buy it or something. I heard some kind of rumor that maybe somebody would buy it, but yeah, Dangerfield is closed right now. A bunch of them are closed. Yeah, I know. Everybody, Bub's cat, America will not endure another year of this shit. I hope they don't drag this out for another year, dude. Um, I would hope that, when this originally started to happen, I was told that they were going to shut down, they're like, hey, we're going to shut down. I'm like, bro, you can't do that. That was my literal reaction, was like, no, you can't shut down everything. Boy, was I wrong. Yeah, and I've always said the government can ultimately do whatever they want, but did not think that they could pull this off and just shut us all down, but they did. Now is the time to invest in a speakeasy, Cody. That's not a bad idea. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of things are going to go by way of like, so we had talked about, like secret shows, like that type of deal, or like text only or something like that. Or I had talked about it, but it's like, you get one snitch in that email list, and then that's the end of that, right? Or that, text chain, and then they're blowing your spot up for sure. So, I mean, there's still, and obviously liability, but maybe we're going the way of, like sexual consent when they were saying you should have a waiver or something. Maybe we're going to have COVID waivers when you come into our secret shop or something. I don't know. I don't know how all this is going to work. I do know that we're going to figure out, I mean, the people that figure out a new way to operate, or a new way, the market's just going to have to change in a lot of these things. That's why I bought livestreamcomedy.com months ago, and livestreamcomedy.tv, which I haven't done anything with, but I own them. And maybe I really don't like the Zoom style of show where you just sit there and talk and there's no feedback. I think maybe a small crowd in the room is kind of necessary, so at least you have that energy, and maybe you put that in the 25 people outdoor gathering, or you make sure that your gathering list is small enough that you can do it, and then you just film that, shoot that, and do it live, and have people pay, less online, like whether it's half or whatever, $5, $10, um, and start doing it that way, which sucks because I like having the people there. But until it opens back up, we're just going to have to, try and evolve, I suppose. So, I mean, I think either way, and I don't want to say this is the new normal because it's not, because we're going to go back to some semblance of like what we were before, but it will be slightly different. But like I said, this isn't going to be the model forever. We'll definitely go closer to normal and open up once everybody stops freaking out. What do you want to produce, Bob? We got Bob Levy on my Facebook over there. Got neck surgery. Everybody give him a what's up. Got his neck fixed finally. He's not going to be walking around like Tin Man. Oh, you're getting all kinds of hearts over here on Instagram, Bob. Everybody loves you. The Reverend Bob Levy. Dude, there's hearts going up like, there's only 2 people on there and there's like 50,000 hearts going up. I don't know how that works, but they know other people love it too, even though they're not there right now. Holy, I missed a bunch of people on YouTube. Cody says, me and my wife owned a small business that we had to shut down recently. Super shitty times for us, but gotta remember it could always be worth. Absolutely. Man, that is a bummer, right? Like, you work so hard to build something up. It takes a long time. It takes a couple of years to build a business up to where it kind of starts to generate its own awareness and stuff. And then to have that taken away, and then now you've got to go back to, square one, and it's a daunting process. Starting over anything was daunting. When I stopped riding dirt bikes and then went to freestyle, comedy, it was definitely a big, yes, I do know about the Bubs Cat on YouTube. I do know about the Georgia Guidestones. I actually lived in Georgia for about 13 years. And that is a good question about those Guidestones. So for anybody that doesn't know about the Georgia Guidestones, there are stones somewhere in Georgia where they have the guides to like operating the world written in like 13 different languages or something on these guidestones. So I don't remember, I should look it up on this computer, but I don't remember the actual things, but one of them is like limit the population of the world to something like, I'm not sure what it is. Bubs, do you know what the guidestones say? I might pull it up, but it's distracting when I'm trying to type stuff and do this at the same time. And I agree, America is being systematically dismantled before our eyes. I agree with that 100%. At least the way that we knew it, is being changed. Whether that's good or bad, like I think it's bad because I think that obviously we had issues. But I don't think like, why does every other country want to come here? Not every other, okay? There are a lot that don't, but why do a lot of countries, people want to come here? Because there's opportunity, people. Like, you guys that are so mad at America, like, you should be like a little bit perturbed, maybe, but not like super mad at America, dude. It's a super rad country. We do have a lot of opportunity. I would venture to guess that the people in these other countries, in like third world countries and stuff, that are making way less than you, working way harder, are looking at these Americans over here crying about how much America sucks as a bunch of pussies. For sure. You guys got iPhones and cars, and even if you live in a crappy house, dude, you probably live in equal or better housing than a lot of those people. And you're up here just crying about it. And then, like, somebody called me the wrong gender. These are stupid things to be super upset about, people. I'm sorry. Super stupid. It's because we don't have to worry about dying. Are you being obtuse? I don't even know what that, You're going to have to elaborate, Bob. I'm not sure what that means. That's a super cool transition in life. What, from dirt bikes to comedy? I wish I had gone a little bit smoother. I didn't know I was going to do comedy, but I definitely thought I was going to transition out of dirt bikes much more smoothly than I did. It was not a very fluent transition. So, but we're here now. I think that I had to get it hurt as bad, like right in a row, to force me out, because I think I would have just continued to ride. And I was 36. I was already a dinosaur in that shit. I wasn't progressing anymore, learning new tricks. So like, it wasn't really that fulfilling anymore. At least comedy, like I'm still striving to be a better comedian. You can always write more stuff, and it doesn't mean you're going to maybe kill yourself. Effectively, the actual COVID strain is yet to be tangibly proven. Endless admitted fraud of death certificates cases. I agree with you, dude. They fudge the numbers, the amount of tests that come back positive. There's like 50% or something, or like what's his name? Elon Musk got friggin' 4 in a row. 2 come back positive, 2 come back negative. Like, what are we doing? But the 500 million is the depopulation plan. So that's the Tony Loco, my boy Tony Loco down in Georgia, says that the Georgia Guidestones say that you say to regulate the population or cap it off at 500 million, which we're like 300 million in this country alone. So I'm sure we're way over 500 million, which makes you wonder, why more are they making people lock down? And did you you guys hear at one point, like, where the only people, or 60% of the people that were getting COVID were people that were quarantined? We like really overlook the fact that our bodies have the ability to fight diseases. We're actually made that way, which is, it's an interesting thing, because that's people actually. Now, here's my thing too. And I say this about food as well. If you're religious and you believe God made everything, you should believe that He made all the nutrients and everything that we need to survive here on the planet. If you also believe in evolution, you should also believe that we evolved to have all of the nutrients and elements that we need to survive. Right? But now, as people, we're so smart. We're like, no, food is not the problem or the answer. It's these little pills that we make. That makes sense, obviously. So many people died because they were put on ventilators at the beginning, says Bob Levy. I agree. And most of, uh, I think like 40 to 60% or something, so like about half of the deaths were also from um, them enforcing a law where if people, old elderly people, I don't know if they went from the nursing home to the doctor, but if they tested positive, they were putting them back into the nursing homes, which is where all the people that are at risk reside. No? Is that not how that works? And then they're like, use these numbers on us. And then everybody's like, yo, Cuomo is the best. And I'm like, didn't he kill all the. He killed grandma or grandpa or aunt, whatever. It's really turned into a shit show, didn't it? In evolution, we also see over the years that viruses and sicknesses are around to keep the population down. Of course, Bob. That's another issue. We try to save too many people. We try and save everyone, which it's nice, but everyone doesn't. I know. There's a dark opinion here. Everyone can't live forever, is all I'm saying. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe we do, and then we just reincarnate. That's what happens. Bub's cat's really getting me fired up over here. You gotta settle down. Maintain humanity under 500 million is guidestone. I'm just giving you shit. Silent weapons for quiet wars. Make no mistake, this is war. They're researching all of our Pornhub histories. The Chinese know every video you whack it to. They know. Not everyone deserves to be saved. I agree, Bob. But it's also not up to the socialist healthcares to determine, right? Because that's what happens once you get like any type of socialist like government healthcare. They decide when the cutoff is. They're like, this guy's 70, not worth our tax dollars. That's what happened. That's the one thing nobody talks about in all these countries that have socialized medicine, like Canada and everything. Yo, rich Canadians come here because they can pay for surgery and get it immediately. Huh? What? Because they have the money to do it. If you're poor, you wait it out. But if you don't, if you're a rich Canadian, you go to a place like here where you can just show up with money and pay, and then you get your service. You get your stuff fixed. People don't talk about that. And if you're over a certain, age, then you get moved lower on the list. So that's now, wait, so we got to save all these people from these elderly from COVID and put socialized healthcare in so that socialized healthcare can decide not to save those same elderly people when they have something. They're like, don't infect the elderly people because our socialized medicine is not going to take care of them. They're pretty much SOL if you get them sick. It's basically what they're saying. That's why Bob posts all the videos. He whacks it too, so China will not find out. Well, it's like Eminem in 8 Mile, right? Like he just called out all the stuff on himself, and then nobody could talk shit on him. So if Bob just retweets every Pornhub video he watches, then you can't. He's already ahead of the curve. Yo, I like watching people on Instagram just show up for like 2 seconds and then leave. Uh-oh, they went crazy on here. We must stop the authorities. We're running out of cars. I know. He wrote, sorry, I'm just livid. I know. You're making me mad. No one has the authority over anyone else, period. Exactly. Kelso, the contradictions are obvious and immediate. They're trying to play God and God's pissed. I agree with all these, you know? I don't necessarily, I'm not even a religious person, so I think God is like the energy that connects us all, whatever crunchy shit you can say about it. But that's like I think I've been listening to The Immortality Key, which is a book that shows or that kind of tries to show that the wine sacrament at church originally was psychedelic wine. And it started from a pagan religion that started before then. And Jesus is basically the remake of Dionysus, who was the god of ecstasy. And guess what his thing was? He turned water into wine, but he turned it into sick ass wine that make you trip and meet God. Allegedly. Don't shoot me. I subscribe to it, but I'm like I said, crunchy or whatever you want to call it. So I think we all need to do a little bit of mushrooms, all right? And reconnect with whatever God is. Think about how much better church service would be. For sure, porn blackmail is coming. That's why we just post them, right, Bob? Just post them up. Nobody can know. All right, Cody. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. Get back to work, son. The government's going to shut you down again. You better work while you can. If that healthcare, this is Bob Levy, if that healthcare is passed that, you will have doctors like me, and I'm not a doctor. Everyone will show up for every little thing. Doctors in this country cannot handle it. Well, I mean, is that not what happened with the COVID deal, right? They're like, oh, the operating rooms are filling up, or the emergency rooms are filling up. Well, if you didn't have warning COVID on every single show and every single website and every single company email every single person about their COVID restrictions, people wouldn't freak out and go directly to the hospital. Right? I mean, if you didn't amp it up so that it was like the worst thing ever, people probably wouldn't run directly to the hospital. But we make it like, shit, you better get to the hospital so we can stick this tube down your throat and kill you faster. But, well, that's what they want to do, Bob. They want to scare everybody so that they get people there. Now it looks like there's something more going on. The problem, here's the other narrative on that whole thing, is that, it's like, you could kill grandma. Yo, grandma's been dying of pneumonia forever by the millions. You could have always caught pneumonia and barely gotten it and given it to grandma. That was always a risk. But nobody told you that, so we didn't need to shut everything down. Right? Is that what happened? You weren't instructed that grandma could die? Wasn't brought to your attention that grandma could die? Do you know grandma could die if COVID never existed? Do you realize that? Anyway, a shower can kill grandma. That's right, Bob. Probably porn could kill grandpa. You know what I mean? He could have a heart attack. Didn't Duncan Trussell say they put cannabis in the incense swingy things? I don't know. I need to get some incense swingy. Like in his house, they did it themselves, or like some company like spiked incense with weed. Seems like an expensive incense. Revelation prophecy is being fulfilled before us all, whether you believe in the Bible or not. That's my point. Like, I think that most of these things, I'm not saying the Bible's not real. What I'm saying is, and if let's say Christianity is an interpretation of the religion prior to it, then it's still based off of something else. Like, or it's still based off of something is my point. Something happened, and maybe the story needed to change a teeny bit for more people to accept. I don't know. At churches to go with the wine. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe he's got a sweet church. If they had weed in the swingy thing at his church and wine. But did the wine have psychedelics in it? That's the question. We are still capable of reversing the destruction. I know, hopefully. Well, that's what was supposed to. I realized you guys just shut down because it's red up there. Not you. Instagram's still there, although nobody's watching. There we go. It's back. Feed got jumpy. You can do mushroom wine in a wheelchair. That doesn't matter. Right? I would agree with that. Prophecy is being engineered to look prophetic. I don't even know what prophetic means, honestly. I would have to look that up. I'm assuming it's like prophetic, like profound, like a prophet type of deal. No, I agree. I mean, listen, all this shit is engineered, and that's the whole problem with the truther thing, right? Like everything's everything's planned, and then everything else is a redirect, and it's like, what the hell is going on for real? And then you got psyops get into that, and now they take it off of the. It's such like, I don't know if people, this 5D chess and all that. Like, are people really that good and they can see that far down the road, or is it like you try to do something and then you kind of halfway get there and then you like go off on some other tangent? I don't know. I know that I don't understand people that well, so I could not plan that far in advance, that's for sure. Most of the stuff they do doesn't make sense to me, so I don't think I would be very good at trying to figure out what they think. But, I mean, this is what I think. The elites, whoever they are, the quote-unquote elites, definitely want to take more control of the world, and they're making a play right now. Who's on who's really on the right side and the wrong side of it? I don't know. I can tell you what it looks like to me. It looks like the established government, our established government, which would be any past president, omitting Trump, because as soon as he got in, everybody, all the presidents together grouped up themselves and then was like against him, which makes me think that they're all on the same team. And that would be part of I don't say that they're necessarily even the elites. I think they're just pawns for the real elites. But in any event, that's not good for us to have that many people that are in with that faction running government, so. You're against religious. I'm with you, Bubs. I don't think, I think, like I said, I think that religions are conveying, I think Religions are explaining God or the universe to people in a given time frame, so or location. Like my feeling is that Muslim and Christian are probably actually a lot of the writings and what they say and stuff like that, as far as um, violence and stuff, are kind of similar. I honestly think that Christians and Muslims are just mad at each other over like the interpretation. One was written in one language and the other one was written in another language, and I honestly think like that's what the argument is. Like I think it's just the same story in different languages to explain it to those people. And then people get so like this is the right religion that they're mad at the other people. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of that you're still dealing with the same power above. It's just explained to you differently because you have different language and you made up different characters. That's mine. And if anybody wants to be mad at me about that, that's fine. But I think it's just interpretation of whatever God or that power, whatever that is, and or just being like weird towards each other because the interpretation is slightly different because of our languages. But I think all of it ties into no matter what religion you are, whatever. If you do psychedelics, you see kind of the same thing, which I think is like us looking into another dimension, as weird as that sounds. So I think that's us, our brains looking into a different dimension. And I think that all these ancient astronaut theory stuff, where they're like, oh, the ancient astronauts told them. Yeah, but not physically. They didn't show up and stand with them and go, hey, this is what you got to do, and point at the thing. I think they ate mushrooms. They went into that dimension. And then that's when the aliens visited them and told them the information. Right? And maybe the things in the sky every once in a while are UFOs. And probably most of the time they're just like shooting stars or something. I don't know. That's just my interpretation of the deal. Later, Bob. Bob Levy, everyone. He's out. Go check him on Twitter. He's always on Twitter. So go on Twitter. Look up, I think it's Rev Levy. Reverend Levy? Levy, sir? I don't know. He has one that he's locked out of because he was a bad boy and he said something bad. But yeah, we're about an hour. This is the Clint Esposito show. I'm going to do it on Mondays. Monday will just be me doing this, talking BS, and then I'll try and get another guest on, doing a second one during the week, and I'll get a guest on. So, and I'm going to try and do this, interact with all you guys. Max from the UK is listening. Don't get any ideas, Max. I'm joking. You can get ideas. It's fine. I don't know what I'm talking about anyway. I'm just some dirt biker turned comedian. So, that's like, when people they're like, oh, George Clooney's going to vote for blah, 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 or whatever. They said blah, blah, blah about the president. Oh, you mean the guy that's really good at pretending he's other people? He must obviously, obviously that's a good person to listen to because he's really good at pretending to be other people at times. I don't see how that correlates to them knowing anything about politics and their opinion being any better than anybody else's. But all right, people. Tonight we do have open mic at the Dojo East, so we are going to do a no carnival parking live. That will be on the Dojo of Comedy East Facebook page and the freethinker.tv YouTube and the Twitch. XG, what's up, bro? XG from the one and only Tinfoil Hot Podcast just hopped on IG. I'm sure he disappeared already. See how that goes? Oh well. Instagram is just like for people to like peer into for just a second and go, I want to get out of here. All right, people. Yep. Later, Bubs Cat. Hey, don't get me fired up next time. No, I'm joking. Yeah. Later on, no carnival parking from upstairs of the dojo right before the open mic. So yeah, join us back here for that later. And whatever. Have a good day. Have a good week. Don't let all this crazy shit get to you. Okay? Try and not watch the news so much maybe. Go outside for a run or something. All right? All right. I'm out of here.